broke about that JD is back in living on the street or in the car or something.
What the hell is JD doing now?
Writing music,
look,
man.
Writing music. It's a shame that everyone seems to want to talk about this in a way, because I mean, well, as JD said, it was just sort of miscommunication, and at the time we wanted to take a big break. The 5 original band members, we stopped the tour, and we said sort of bye to JD, and because he's heading to Canada and we're heading home and whatever. And I think at that time I certainly wasn't sure what the future was going to hold with INXS. I was exhausted after that tour, drained completely. So, we'd said to JD, we're going to take at least 12 months off and we'll see what happens after that. And JD wanted to do a solo record, and that was that. And then, it just got a little bit misconstrued. I think there was some miscommunication.
And to be fair, I do respect and understand that you don't want to harp on this, and in fact, I very consciously didn't. I wanted to start and spend most of the interview talking about the record.
Yeah, which we have done.
But I think people are confused.
Sure.
So it's and the fact that you are here together suggests that you are a band, and yet when you read the liner notes, the band, and it says the band names, your name isn't there, JD, but you are singing on the record, so it's very confusing.
Hey, it's only rock
and
roll,
I'm sure.
I like it, man.
We like to confuse, keep people guessing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've got some clarity. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Tricky's in the band. He might also be in there. This original Sin is I mean, it's something of a 30-year INXS retrospective. And it almost feels like when somebody writes a memoir, you sort of say, well, is this the ending point, or is this the beginning of a new chapter? When do you decide to write your memoir, right? So given that this is a retrospective, do you see this as a jumping off point to more, or do you see this as closing a chapter, Kirk?
Gee, I wouldn't. I kind of don't. I wouldn't term it as either, really. It's just, the new INXS record. I think probably...
that was a really long-winded way of saying, what's the future?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, what's next?
I'll tell you.
Really well said.
I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you. But I will say that I think, we felt really the whole sort of like the Switch album and all that was sort of the new chapter, obviously, because we'd established the fact that JD was our new singer and we did an album, and that, that's kind of the new chapter. But yeah, I mean, at the moment we're already looking for some space next year to do a new record with JD with new songs. So that's on the cards, and where that takes us, we'll see.
JD?
Yeah, man.
You're about to start, you guys are going to do an Australian tour, I believe.
Yeah, I believe first couple weeks of January we're rehearsing, and then on to a 8 or 9 show little mini tour.
Tell me about what you're most excited about heading into the new year.
I just think it's fantastic that every time I get on stage with INXS, I get to grow as an artist. I learn. It got to the point where, you start feeding off each other's energy. Who's going to be here, who's going to be there, and we're only human. I mean, it's not like, I went into this like, oh my God, this is going to be so daunting, and it was. But like everything, after a while, you keep working it and working it and working it. You make it your own. You get into the nuts and bolts of it. Like the captain's got to know every nut and bolt on the ship, every creak, every leak. And once in a while, you find yourself and you go, I know that person's going to mess up right there, or I know they're going to be brilliant right there, so I'm going to do this in order to compensate. And at the end of it, you are actually a band. And I mean, there's not one person on that record that is not capable of getting up and doing what I do with these guys. But right now, to step in after, the amount of time that we've put together, that we know we can feed off each other on stage. We know when this is going to break. We know when that's going to break. We know the middle eight's going to sound like this. Those guys, I wouldn't expect or try to put that challenge to them, because it's a really full-on aggressive set, and to do that and make it work is really hard work.
In 2005, when in front of the eyes of the world, you became the new lead singer of INXS, your enthusiasm and passion was impressive and inspirational and infectious. and it's really nice to see that it's undiminished.
Absolutely.
Your enthusiasm is really,
Man of my word.
It's nice to hear. It's such a pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you.
Congrats on this record.
Thanks
and,
very much.
Hope to see you again on the next tour with the next record.
Yep, next year.
Absolutely. Certainly fantastic to see you again, man.
J.D. Fortune is the lead singer of INXS. Kirk Pengilly is the band's longtime guitarist. Their latest record is called Original Sin. It's out now on Sony, and J.D. Fortune and Kirk Pengilly have been